SABC foreign editor, Sophie Mokoena. A very good morning to you once, good afternoon to you once again. What are you witnessing there?
Yes, indeed, the military is on standby, the red carpet is ready. We are now waiting for President Ramaphosa to come and wait for Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, who will be arriving soon, as it was indicated earlier on that the ceremonies are likely to start at 12, but we are still waiting. You know that the president was in Kimberley, and I think the little delay there, but soon we'll see the president on the steps of the Union buildings, his office, the West Wing, and also we'll see the car pulling through here at the Union buildings. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed will come and meet with his counterpart. And I indicated earlier on that I expect a private meeting first, where burning issues are likely to be discussed. And of course, a broader meeting with all the people who will be participating, ministers from both sides and technocrats, where they'll be ironing out in terms of the agreements and what needs to be done economically and politically to strengthen the relations between the two countries. But the president will be waiting. He is going to come out soon, and then we'll see the cars coming, and he will receive his counterpart.
It is an official visit, Sophie. What sort of pomp and ceremony is attached to it?
Well, of course, it's not a real full military performance or ceremony, because it is not a state visit. It is a official visit or a working visit. And because, you know, he arrived on Friday engaging with the local community, the Ethiopians, and also yesterday in Kimberley, where he attended the ANC rally, and today, of course, government-to-government issues, and it is a working visit or an official visit. Therefore, you can see, when you look at the visuals, you can see that the military, we do have them, the presidential guard with green, they are here, and you also have the other guys, and the president is coming as we speak. My camera, the SABC camera is going to pan towards the red carpet there. You can see the president is coming down, and slowly and taking his time. He's still standing there and preparing, perhaps getting final briefings in terms of what needs to happen. He is still up there. It's quite hot. I can't see him coming down anytime soon unless he's given a go-ahead to come down. You can see the protocol official is already up there waiting for the president to take the steps down and to receive Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, the youngest leader on the continent, who took office in 2018 but has implemented lots of reforms in his country. We know that Ethiopia will be going to elections this year, and he is quite confident that elections will be free and fair. He has built a formidable relations.
I guess this visit will also explore potential areas of trade and investment as well, isn't it, Sophie? All right, so we are still awaiting the arrival of Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed. I think we just lost a connection with Sophie there, but the President of South Africa hosting the Prime Minister on this official visit at the Union buildings in Tshwane. The Prime Minister was also, you'll remember, present at the ANC's January 8th statement yesterday. He is in the country for this bilateral discussion on matters of mutual national development, regional as well as continental issues, as well as international developments. Sophie's back with us. Sophie, what are you seeing?
Well, as I indicated, you can see in the visuals there, the president is ready to receive Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. And as I indicated earlier on, this is the leader, the youngest leader on the continent who has implemented lots of reforms in his country. He received the Nobel Peace Prize last year. And of course, the President of the mighty United States of America very aggrieved this week when he was on campaign trail, saying that he contributed towards Prime Minister Abiy receiving that Nobel Peace Prize. But others say no. His hard work in ensuring that Ethiopia is at peace with her neighbor, particularly Eritrea, it is the work of Prime Minister Abiy and also the United Arab Emirates who supported him, and also the African leaders. But also not doing that, he also ensured that there's peace in Sudan, or relative peace in Sudan. When the president was removed from office, the tension between the civilians and the military, he intervened. And for now, even though there are questions in terms of whether the interim military government is inclusive, he was able to ensure that we don't see a civil war raging in Sudan, even though there are still pockets of conflict. We saw what happened a week ago in Darfur, which brings us to the question of whether the African Union will be able to silence the guns this year as per the African Union 2063 program. We will see.
Also, Sophie, the president as well as the prime minister no doubt will be talking about Ethiopian nationals that are living in South Africa and what sort of conditions maybe they are living here in South Africa. That maybe forms part of discussions today.
When President Ramaphosa interacts with his counterparts on the continent, this matter will come up, the issue of xenophobia in South Africa, or the perceived xenophobia in South Africa. You know that all the nationals who are in South Africa were affected directly or indirectly, even though in terms of loss of life, more South Africans died than, of course, the Zimbabweans. But, of course, the foreign nationals in South Africa are quite concerned. But the other issue is, you know very well that in terms of the international norms and laws, there's a way in which you have to manage the refugee crisis in your country, but also the refugees themselves. They must know that they have to respect the laws of the respective countries where they are. You'd recall that when President Ramaphosa spoke to the Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari, President Muhammadu Buhari, during the press conference when I asked him about that issue, he said the Nigerians in South Africa must respect the laws of South Africa because there are allegations in terms of some foreign nationals who are involved in crime activities, particularly the issue of drugs. And therefore, I think these matters will come up. I think the issue of the current decision by Home Affairs to tighten the refugee laws or act in South Africa will come up because many refugees are concerned, particularly those who are here in South Africa for not for economic reasons, but political reasons, where they are saying that in their respective countries they are under the military rule or despots, or there is no political activity, or particularly from the opposition. But South Africa also, it has to ensure that it is not seen as a launching pad for other people who want to overthrow their own respective governments where they come from. So South Africa will have to really try and strike a balance in terms of ensuring that you accommodate those who have been who have left their countries because of the political reasons, and those who have left their countries because of the economic reasons, but also to ensure that South Africans, on the other hand, are on board and they don't feel aggrieved.
So for the better part of the morning, we've been talking about the Nobel Peace Prize laureate, Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed. We know that he is very young, well, relatively young in terms of other African leaders on the continent. He came into office in 2018 and introducing a whole lot of political as well as economic reforms. We know Ethiopia is gearing up for an election this year, Sophie. How popular is the Prime Minister in his country?
He's quite popular currently. He was able to put together a coalition, and he's going to lead that coalition to elections. That speaks to how popular he is. But also because he's young, you saw the internet yesterday when they saw him at that ANC rally. The whole continent was on fire, and therefore, I mean, he's quite popular. I can't take away that from him and his work also. But also the Nobel Peace Prize. You know, when you get that honor, you get profiled worldwide, and I think for now, he's still basking in that profile.
So what can we read into?
And the president is now steps away. It looks like...
Carry on,
I'm
Sophie.
saying the president has just come down a bit. I think he's going to receive his Mr. President. I can see you are ready. You are ready, Mr. President. Yes, that's President Cyril Ramaphosa waving to us journalists here. He stands ready. And I can see the advance team from Ethiopia is arriving. And I think any minute, Prime Minister Abiy will arrive. I can see they are walking towards the red carpet. We expect the leader to arrive very soon. It will be interesting, you know, after the arrival and after the meetings when they address the media to get a sense of what was discussed, but I think it will really revolve around the bilateral, the two countries' political and also trade relations, but also President Ramaphosa taking over as the chair of the African Union. You know very well that Addis Ababa is the seat of the continental body. You know, every January, all heads of states and government on the continent, they converge at Addis Ababa. He is the host, Prime Minister Abiy. Therefore, it's quite important to engage him. And also, I think the announcement yesterday that the house that was used by former President Nelson Mandela in Ethiopia when he was receiving military training and availing it to South Africa, perhaps in partnership with Ethiopia, to do something so that we can always be reminded that he left the country in a Ethiopian passport. Yeah, you can see now the arrival of the Prime Minister very soon. He is going to greet President Ramaphosa, and the real work will start. Already the ministers inside are ironing out talking points for the two leaders. He will soon come out, and the military is ready, the red carpet is ready, and the President of the Republic of South Africa is ready. And here he has arrived at the Union Buildings, and 58 years after Nelson Mandela left South Africa for military training in Ethiopia on the 11th of January, today on the 12th of January, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa and Ethiopian Prime Minister meeting here at the Union Buildings. It is indeed a historic day, and strong relations between the two countries. I can tell you, the internet soon, I see Ethiopia trending very, very, very soon.
Yes, indeed, Sophie. Look, this visit, I guess, will no doubt explore this potential areas of trade and investment. And we're talking here about telecommunications, we're talking about road infrastructure, mining, agro-processing, and manufacturing. Do we know about the footprint that South Africa has in Ethiopia?
Can we take the gun salute, and perhaps we can engage after? anthem of Ethiopia, will soon hear the South African national anthem. There you have it, the national anthem of Ethiopia and the national anthem of South Africa, the two leaders pointing at something. I can't quite get what they are pointing at, but it speaks to a young leader who is very observant, and he doesn't really subscribe to protocol and all that, and they are getting in now. They will have a short meeting, the two leaders privately, where really burning issues are likely to be discussed, like perhaps the issue of the refugees. And thereafter making comments in the Oval inside there, and then again addressing the media later. And Blaine, perhaps let's leave our viewers with the soundbite. I don't know whether you still have it, of President Donald Trump when he was talking this week, saying that he played a role in ensuring that Prime Minister Abiy receives the Nobel Peace Prize, but many saying it's not true.
Yeah.
Over to you, Blaine.
Thanks, Sophie. Let me just see if we have it. Sansa, do we have it? Can we cue that up sound with regards to President Donald Trump saying that maybe he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize? Sansa, do we have it? All right, while we cue it up, Sophie, let's just set the scene. Let's tee it up for our viewers. Just tell us the reasons why the Prime Minister received or won the Nobel Peace Prize. It seems that we lost communication there with Sophie Mokoena. But yes, indeed, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, the recipient, laureate of the Nobel Peace Prize. And he's here in the country to explore potential areas of trade and investment. I guess that will benefit both countries. And here we're talking about the telecommunications, we're talking about road infrastructure, mining, agro-processing, as well as manufacturing. And this visit also forms part of the preparations for South Africa's assumption of a year-long term as the chair of the African Union. And this is happening at the 32nd ordinary session of the Assembly of the Heads of State and Government in Addis Ababa, and it's happening next month. And as Sophie was talking about, it's a very important theme that will be coursing through this ordinary session, 32nd ordinary session, and that is silencing the guns and creating conducive conditions for Africa's development. So in this context, the official visit will be providing an opportunity for the two leaders to discuss issues of mutual concern and interests of peace, security, and development. Sophie Mokoena, you back with us? Sophie, if you can hear me. I was
yes,
just,
indeed,
yes.
Blaine, as I...
Carry on, Sophie.
I can hear you, Blaine.
All right, I just wanted to set the scene and tee it up for our viewers. We're just trying to cue up the clip of U.S. President Donald Trump talking about this Nobel Peace Prize. Maybe he was a bit aggrieved that he didn't receive it, but just give us a sense of why the Prime Minister actually won this award.
Well, he was given the honor because he played a prominent role in trying to unite his people, first. Secondly, the role he played in ensuring that Eritrea and Ethiopia are both at peace. But he went further to ensure that he does participate in the IGAD region, as Ethiopia is part of the IGAD region, but also the Horn of Africa, on ensuring that Sudan, when al-Bashir was removed from power, there is negotiations to ensure that the country doesn't descend into civil war, even though there were many lives lost, and also currently there's still pockets of conflicts, and therefore that's the reason. And now Donald Trump is saying America did contribute towards ensuring that Eritrea and Ethiopia is at peace with the two countries are at peace, and also the synergy between the two countries. But others are saying, no, it's United Arab Emirates, and of course the African leaders.
All right. Yes, Sophie, thank you very much indeed for your reporting. I think we have that clip. Let's just play that clip of President Donald Trump talking about this Nobel Peace Prize. Let's play it. Stand by, Sophie.
I mean, I'm going to tell you about the Nobel Peace Prize. I'll tell you about that. I made a deal. I saved a country. And I just heard that the head of that country is now getting the Nobel Peace Prize for saving the country. I said, did I have something to do with it? Yeah, but that's the way it is. As long as we know, that's all that matters.
Right, that's the U.S. President Donald Trump there talking about this Nobel Peace Prize. Seemingly, maybe he felt that he deserved it more. What do you think, South Africa? At the agenda _SABC. Send us your thoughts. We'll come back to Sophie in a short while.